the air, I was playing around with this stencil by Lizzie Main. This was released last week, and I am in love with this stencil. I really like it a lot. And so I was playing with it a little bit. It's a really cool stencil. I can't decide if it's like Art Deco or mid-century or what it is. I just don't know. I just really like it. I was using my soft gel gloss by Golden, which is kind of a, I don't know, it's not a matte medium because it's a gloss, and it's not as fluid as matte medium. So it's a gel, but it's a soft gel, so it's not as thick as the regular gels. You know, the Golden products. This is one of my favorite glues. So here is my thinking on glue. I use matte medium when I'm using super thin things, and when I'm using something that's a little bit thicker or needs a little bit more glue, I use gel medium, soft gel medium, okay? If I use something even thicker, then I use a regular gel. Gloss always dries super, super clear, whereas matte just has just a little bit of translucency when it dries down. So anyway, I just was using soft gel gloss for these this morning. And here's one that I did. I put Lizzie's stencil down, and then I slapped down a piece of this thermo web. This is that foil that they make, and I know you can do heat stuff with it, and I just forget all of it. And so here is what I did. I created this little part, and all I did was lay the stencil down and use the palette knife and palette the soft gel gloss over top of my paper. And then I slapped this down and let it dry. And it's not totally dry now, but pretty dry. And I love how that comes out. So to have these laying around to use, these little parts, is really pretty slick. Now, do not throw this part away. This part you want to leave in your stash of collage stuff. Just use the gel. Just use a gel medium or any kind of a medium. It'll work great with the foil. And it'll also work great with embossing powders. The gel mediums will. So these are these embossing glazes, the Tim Holtz ones, the Distress. And I just used them with the gel, the soft gel gloss. And look how great they turned out with the stencils. And this is what kind of blew my mind, is that if you use, this is so cool to me, if you use just one of these little component parts in this stencil, doesn't it look like a doorway? I think it looks like this doorway that just goes back in time. I think it's super cool looking. I was curious how it would look on these vintage papers, and these are vintage papers that I just dribbled some watercolor on, and then I just embossed it with Tim's glaze. And I just think it's super, super pretty. I think I'm gonna make some tunnels. I have a little bit, I like it when it comes down. Here's the other thing. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. Is if you have a little too much gold, just use one of these little sanding blocks and knock it back. See, I had a little bit too much down at the bottom. And that's also what it does there, is it distresses it just the tiny bit. I think I moved the table a little bit. But see how the bottom is not as glossy as the top. I like Tim's glazes. They're very, they're sheer, they're pretty. They actually bubble up a little bit when you use them with the gloss instead of a true embossing ink. It's really cool. And he makes his own gels, but I just didn't have one on hand, so I just used the soft gel.
Thanks for watching. StencilGirl would love to spark even more of your creativity with technique videos and more. Just click on the links below and you're all ready to stencil.